You probably heard the saying, hunting is conservation. It typically tends to draw a lot of criticism from the non-hunting community. So the question in this episode is hunting really conservation? To answer that, we kind of got to look at the definition of conservation. And like every term, there's a lot of variations in the definitions, but the central theme around the definition of conservation is the management of a natural resource to prevent its exploitation. At the highest level, if you listen to nothing else in this episode, yes, hunting is conservation for the one main simple fact that hunting gives wildlife value. Hunters value the animals they hunt. They know the habitat grows the animals, so they value the habitat as well. Habitat that's home to a lot of different species, non-game species of wildlife. And the simple relationship here between hunting and conservation is that when humans value something in nature, they will protect and conserve it. As an example, black bears in Canada. Black bears were subject to exploitation in the 1800s. They were actually one of the wildlife species in Canada that the commercial market hunters targeted. The meat and the fat was highly desirable in the food markets, but it was also considered a pest, vermin, and it was just wantonly killed for no reason other than just fear of bears and getting rid of them because they were pests. The province of Ontario actually had a bounty on black bears right up until 1961. I was born in 1966, so it's really, from my perspective, not that long ago. It's hunters that changed the exploitation of black bears and the market hunting that were driving black bear populations down because they cared about hunting black bears. Hunters worked with governments to elevate the status of a black bear from vermin to a game animal. And once black bears were recognized as a game species, then they created hunting seasons, regulations, science-based management of black bears, species tags, bag limits, all that stuff. And to this day, because of that, because of hunters wanting to conserve black bears still occupy 95% of their historical range in Canada. Way more than in the United States. Now, one of the problems with the mantra, hunting is conservation, is what the non-hunters hear when we say this. And to them, what they're hearing is us saying that only hunting is conservation, or the only aspect of conservation is hunting. We also have to recognize that there are a lot of things that make up conservation. Research, education and awareness campaigns, laws, regulations, habitat enhancement, habitat protection, law enforcement, economics and funding, social support and government policies. All these things work together with hunting to create this big thing that we call conservation. The things that we do as a society to prevent wildlife from being exploited. So if you want to avoid a heated debate over this saying, then consider framing it just a little bit differently. You can say hunting contributes to conservation, or hunting is also part of conservation. Because really, that's the truth. And when you frame it that way, it actually invites dialogue, because the person that you're talking to is going to likely ask the question, how? How is hunting part of conservation? How does hunting contribute to conservation? It's a little less rigid. And if you can invite that question, then you have the leverage in that discussion to talk about the positive benefits of hunting and conservation.